All right, guys. So I'm so sorry. My voice kind of blowed. It should be like 20 question, and then it's coming from like all of these topics. I will emphasize that during the exam review. But we're not gonna have like a full day review. For example, I would definitely gonna go over some of the very important topics that you should pay attention to. And then there will be like I mean not all 20 questions from objective ones or like 25 topics from objective two would be on the test. Okay. And then we do the same thing for the second exam is that's going to include objective three, objective four, and then and then five and six going to be five, six, seven going to be exam three, and then objective eight is going to be the last exam. So but the last exam, we do not have any exam review because we don't really have much time for that. The exam review actually not included from the uh, from the calendar, but the reason why I'm doing so, I really want to make sure people do well. But the most important thing will also be your objective because that's take like that, like a big part of your exam grade. Okay. All right. The big part of your final grade. I'm so sorry. So l- l- let me just sort of let you know. Um, you can also use the explanations. Literally, once you know exactly what it is. Um, so the stem and leaf is, whenever you go over, it's very important topics, and it's literally one of the things that uh, uh, you might see on a test. So the stem is like the most digit, right? And then the first digit, usually somehow the first two digit, right? And then the leap part is simply the last digit. So they're separately in terms of the row, sorry, in terms of like the row and columns, right? So there are only two columns that we have, and something similar to that. So this is what we call like the stem, and this is what we call the leaf. All right, and then we also have the legend uh, in our summary, in our exam, in our questions. It says key, right? It's going to be like a the data reader, so we need to know how to read that. So apparently that we can see a number of data sets. You can find the number of data sets um based on this, right? So this is going to tell us the number of data sets. So you can easily figure it out based on the chart. So you can count one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, and 10, something like that. So that's the total number of data. So there were 17 data sets in this case. This should be included on the questions. And then what was the least amount spent overall, right? So the least amount we can literally check the is $213. So that's the least amount of money um, being spent. And then what was the least amount spent on 220? You can think of, so we can uh, count a number of data sets: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So there was eight data sets, right? And how many amounts that fell in the 240? So how many amounts? So we get three of them, one, two, and three. Okay. The least amount being spent in 220, which should be $221. Are we good? So this one should be 221, this one should be 213, and this one should be three data sets. Are we good? It's 213. Oops. And this one's like a 221, and this one should be like three data set point right here. Right here. So 213. So $213. So that's the least amount of money. Okay. The first one. The first one always be like the smallest amount of money. Um, you can also try the other one, but so 60, the least number of order of 60 or 67, something like that, right? The least number of orders, like 34, it's not bad, just need to understand the question. They already arrange it like from the smallest to the biggest. The smallest is going to be the first row, the biggest should be the last row. The last the last row should include all the biggest values. All right, I think that's pretty straightforward. Let me just move up to the last chart. Yeah, this one is kind of tricky. So, whenever you don't get the exact number, somehow would not be on the exam. Which department accounts for approximately one-fifth of the annual budget? So one-fifth, you can literally check. It should be one of these, right? It's just very simple to see approximately what percentage of the annual budget is used for marketing and sell combined. So it's marketing and sell. So that should be roughly like 30% or something, right? Maybe. Correct? It's 35%. Like the 30%. If 30% uh, of the annual budget is used for research, approximately what percentage is used for support? Uh, you for research, 30%. You for support should be 15%, something like that, right? Are we good? It should be really straightforward. I don't see any question that we involving any work. Are we good? All right. All right. So we finished objective one. Like I said, it's so make sure you're gonna submit it by everything by by next Tuesday, correct? Uh, you still, I mean, by next Wednesday, but like I said, it's really important that you guys complete them on time because if you don't complete them on time, you're not gonna get 100% on it, right? So it's really hard to get a good grade like without completing all of these on time. So which is why I always encourage you to just go to office hour on Thursday. And then if you was busy, you have classes you take, um, and then you can try to come during office hour on Saturday. So give out 1 hour for that, 1 or 2 hours. And so if you really have to work on Saturday and Sunday, you can try to sneak out some time during the night times or Saturday. Just send me an email. Hey, I want to work out these stuff on Saturday night. Would that be okay? I will try to make some time for you guys and answer the question. Yes, if you get it wrong, they're gonna give you like the new questions so until you answer this correctly. Once you get through all the version of Alex, when it comes to the exam, oh my goodness, I've seen this question before. I knew what the answer is, so you're not gonna spend like 20 minutes for one question, correct? So I also went over most of these topic questions, and I don't see any reason that you get lower than 80 points on the first test. Even if you get lower than 80 point, but if you complete all the objective on time, like it's and then you do all the data days, you know, and then I don't see any reason that you get lower than like a B plus or B, like B or B plus. Okay. Um, the objective is very important, like a big portion of your grade. Plus, we got 5%. We got additional point from data dates. Like I said, it should be after the third exam. I will let you know. I will send out an email reminding you that we're gonna have a data day. So I ask you to read like a certain Word file, how you're gonna do this, how you're gonna do that. I'll show you how to do it. Just give me some time. Okay. TA84 doesn't matter, so we can use all kind of calculator as long as you're not using phone calculator, which is why we have to turn on your phone, making sure it's gonna, you don't have to show yourself, you just have to make sure that it's on your computer, can see. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be like the whole thing on a computer, making sure there's no electronic devices, not turning your pages to ChatGPT or stuff like that. All right, so the more I explain to you, the less time we have for objective two. So I just, there's so many topics. Like I said, I will definitely have to finish it by Friday. And then I would definitely go over some topics next Tuesday before we wrapped up like every objective, right? We wrapped up every objective. I will send out an email reminding you that the objective due on September 10. All right. So this I don't think this is gonna be on the exam, but you're making sure you need to know some notation for that. All right. So some notation. Um, so let's say we're gonna see something like that. This is like sum, right? Summation. We need to uh add up the numbers, something like that. Okay, so I want you have to send those on the calculator, and then you're gonna take the sum.
You guys new? What are you guys teaching? Oh, okay.
I don't see any add size, so you just simply take like 5 plus 18 plus
Like,
9 plus 18 plus 19. So you got 69, so it's relatively straightforward. Okay, so this one is kind of different. And then now you just have to do like 13 square. So the 13 square is kind of tricky, so making sure you're gonna do that. Plus 8 square. Yeah. So,
the school is
and then you have to go down before you can keep adding up like 14 square.
study room.
And so you got 6 square.
Like the one.
It's on the third floor. It's next to the
And we
cafeteria.
got 17 square as well, so that's very important.
Yeah, when I was an undergrad, that.
And then you got 754. Okay, so it's,
The
it's
students
kind of
think it's just a classroom.
it's kind of different from what we did so far. And
Are you guys like master students or PhD students or what?
I'm a master's.
so I just want to make sure that people know how to do the square
There's a lot of.
on that part. So this is like a sum square, something like that.
Class with a couple, like with Martin that I think.
Oh my God, you know Martin?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Martin is like one of the people here in Closest.
And then we go so
Martin's
adding
very
like
important.
x square, right? Xi square.
Oh yeah, wait, who's teaching that? Who's the professor?
I have to go to 1 to 5.
Oh, okay, he told me. And then I think
All right, so we just have to get used to the Alex stuff, and then so that's 754. You can check it quickly. I think that's pretty straightforward. So I don't really, like I don't think this question going to be on the exams.
I just stayed, this is actually. my
So this is
second-
very important questions.
They are teaching you.
I would ask you guys to do it multiple times. The reason behind that because it's one of it might be the exam question. Have a very high chances you can see that.
Yes.
And then that's pro math.
All right,
and that's
Roma, actually, I think Roma is in the class.
Yeah, classes, like I should have been off for the program.
I think, yeah, we only had one class on Thursday, so.
Oh, yeah, she's telling me, yeah. Yeah,
Getting started.
It's getting a little
But,
bigger,
yeah,
so
I still
like
might
a
not-
little smaller. So one thing that you have to do is that we need to pick the
Yeah.
one that is true statements. Okay, so
so I did my BA MA here and I graduated a while ago.
so
and
let
then
me let me just making sure that we understand this stuff. Like so do you have three different things: the mean, the median, the modes, right?
I've been downplaying it because I already went through a math.
So the means is simply like 50% of the data's, right? It's gonna separate that.
Do you have it?
Separate
Baruch is great.
Yeah.
50% of the data.
Or the company of work, like he did just graduated. From Baruch.
The mean is like essential weights of a data.
And they're all part of the units also. You can-
Okay, so but it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
the other thing is correct. So let me just double check that. So a weight loss clinic advertised that last month its patients on average lost 6 pounds, assuming that the average refers to the mean, which of the following claims must be true based on the information. So we have the average equal to
When I'm on a day, I can find my.
which is the mean equal to 6 pounds.
I don't.
And then
Here?
2 months ago, some of the patients lost at least 6 pounds. So some should be the good answers, right?
No, I just kind of, before I could realize that having an accent does not.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean one of the data set value, but some should be good.
Yeah.
Last month, more than half of the patient lost
Now that's.
at least 6 pounds. That is not correct.
Now, like how you get,
Um,
it goes fairly weird, like to speak with like.
Last month, at least one of the patients lost more than 4 pounds. That is not correct. Last month, all of their patients lost 6 pounds more. That is not correct.
Like.
Last month, exactly, one of the patients lost exactly 6 pounds. That is not correct. And none of the above statement are true. So we got one of these.
And that's.
This is not correct either because it said 2 months ago. I'm so sorry. I didn't read the question correctly.
Like kind of right.
I was thinking of Brandon switching.
So I think this one should be the correct answers.
Yeah, and yeah, like right.
No, I think it's C's actually. I'm so sorry. Last month at least one of the patient lost more than 4. Yeah, more than 4. Yeah, more than 4. Lost 6 pounds. Should be more than. I'm so sorry. My environment is kind of noisy right now. So yeah. So at least one of them lost more than 4 pounds. So it's this is coming from last month's information. So it should be good. Let me try another one real quick for that. And let's see.
Much I want to see that I've been putting it off, but from Amsterdam, I've gone to Spain, Portugal, London.
So this is last 6. Let me try another. So they make 9% profit from last year.
Yeah.
More than half of the client make profit of at least 9%. That is not true.
You gotta pick like what your.
Last year, some of the clients make a profit of exactly 9%. That is not true.
Right.
Last year, at least one of the clients make a profit of more than 16%. That is not true. This year, at least one of the clients make a profit at least 9%.
That's really good.
Yeah, this year is not true. It should be last year. So none of this, right? None of this should be true.
So another guy.
So we do the same thing for that. They have the average score of 1160 last year. So next year should not be the correct answers. Last year, some of the freshman students had a score of more than 950, right? Some of them have the score, right, more than 950. That's correct. Some of them should have more than that. Last year, all of the freshmen score of 1160 and above. That is not true. Whenever you see all of them, that does not reflect the means. Okay, so when we see this question like this on your Alex or the exam, so that's to not be the correct answers. So whenever you see all people, this is not true because it does not tell us the average number. And whenever the next year or something like that, that is not true. Um, whenever they have a same equal number of students, so that's the median. That's not mean. That is not true, right? And but you can't not say that some students have the score of exactly 1160 on the exam because the average does not like one of the data set value. So we cannot say that either. So this is only one of them, right? So B. Okay. All right. Let's try another one and then we move up to the next part. But this is a very important question. Last month we lost 7 pounds. Whenever you see all of them, that is not correct. If the number of people equal, so that's the median, that's not the average. That is not correct. Not a lot exactly. So whenever you see exactly, so that does not reflect the average number.
Overturning into your class.
2 months ago, so that is not true because we're just doing the last month data set.
Oh, it might be.
Last month, some of the patients lost more than 3 pounds. So whenever you see something like this, it should be the correct answers. Okay, so
Yeah.
anyway,
Which class is it?
I think that's one of the things. Any questions? If you don't see like some of them have the value less than the average, that is not a correct answers.
101. Okay.
Right.
Interesting that you have a little.
Yeah, and he must show up in your class
Right.
because I don't know if you are the early bird, you're here.
I'm well because I have a 7:30 pre-cal.
Ah,
Yeah.
so it's just finished.
Actually, this morning when I came in, someone was already
So that is not true.
in the adjunct. I was kind of surprised. At like 7:15 or something like
And
that.
like the number of
Some-
people, something like that, that is not true as well.
It's I
So
think
it's-
kind of learning a little bit of like.
So this
for
is not a
example,
correct answer for that
making
question.
all the
Okay,
classwork and stuff is alphabetized before I give it back, because if not, it's gonna take me forever to give back.
Right.
would you mind
like
going
that.
over this one?
It was good. It's really.
Yeah, I can try to do another one if you want to. So on average, it has like 38,500 hours.
Yeah, I was just checking.
So whenever you see like all clients, that does not reflect the average number.
Yeah, I think-
So
I think
this is
I'll
not
do
correct.
it. Yeah, I think I'll do it this evening.
Some of these clients have the starting salary of more than 36,000. Yes. So this have to be correct because we should have some people have the money below the average. We should have some people have the money above the average. But it doesn't mean that all of them will have the amount of money above 38,500.
Like even like I had like today still.
And also,
Just like
we don't have like exact number of people will make the money exactly 38,500 hours. So that is not correct answers. So you can look at that. Last year, more than half of the clients have a starting salary of at least 38,500. So that is not correct. So whenever when you talk about the numbers of people, the number of clients, that is not the correct answers. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow they don't get because I focus on this question so much because this question is kind of confusing, and whenever I focus a question, it's you have a higher chance to see them on the exams. Yes. Question?
It's all-
So whenever it's the word exactly, it's not going to be true. Okay, the average does not reflect the actual value of the data set point.
Makes sense to like do it once.
Which one? I actually just move up to the next one. I'm so sorry. Um, so exactly should not be the correct answers. Last year, less than at least one of the freshman student have a score of less than 1200 on the exam. At least one score less than 1200. That makes sense, right? The numbers freshmen have will equal whenever like they talk with a number of people, they same so that's the median, that's not the average. So that's not true. Last year,
Yeah.
last year, some of the freshmen have a score of 1100 or above on the exam. Some of
Make sure
the students have the score, yeah, sort of confusing between B and C. I will let you know. Last year, this is not correct. So, last year, at least one of the freshman students have the score of less than, yeah, I think they have two answers marked correctly. Let me just check it, right? I think that is good. Yeah. All right. Any question? Whenever you see like a number of people equal to the number of the people making above or below, that's the median. That's not the average. Whenever you see the word all decline, so that is not true.
No, and just all the computers, some of them, they already clubbed down, need to be cleaned up on a regular basis. Yeah, because nobody can sign on, right? Yeah, so right now, everyone has to use.
Are we good?
Drive. Yeah, this is some.
Is that good, people? All right, guys. So,
Right, so that's right.
this is what we call the weight average. So, it's very important, but so you can just simply use a calculator. I just simply just post the questions right here. All right, guys. So, and then the calculation should be, we need to figure out the number of households. And then, so we have 11 household with, so we have to hit divide first. Make sure we're going to hit divide first. We're going to take 11 times 0. We can skip that. And then we take 16 times 2. And then we're going to take 15 times 3. That the number of children they have divided by the number of household. We can just add them up. The total number of household we have is so we take 11 plus 16 plus 15. And then this is gonna give us the final answers based on that. We got around like 1.83, can round up to at least one decimal place. You can just put that 1.83 or 1.8. That should be okay. Are we good? Yeah, I will go over one more time. So this is just the average. Like I said, the average does not represent the dataset value. Well, it just simply tell you that people intend to have less than two children, around 1.8, but slightly, like slightly going toward to two children instead of none. So that's the weight average. Okay. Like I said, the average does not reflect the data set value. It just simply indicates some statistical analysis represent the central tendency or central point of the data sets. So making sure we have that. It doesn't mean that 1.83 should be like 1.8 kids. That doesn't make any sense. Which is why when we did the previous question, whenever you see exactly the word exactly, so they should cross them out because that does not represent the average does not represent the mean. Okay, it's just the central way of the data. Okay, let me just repeat that again. So this is the number of household. And this one, I'm going to take each household, right, multiply with the corresponding and multiply with corresponding children. All right, guys. So I think that's pretty much it. All right. So let's. I think that's pretty straightforward. You can try another one, but so you can simply hit divide first. You have to hit divide first if you don't want to get it wrong. And then we take 6 computer times 2300 plus 11 times 1800 plus 5 times 1000. Oops. You can just plus 13 times 700. If you make mistakes on your calculation, just have to hit backspace on your laptops. It should be fine. And then simply we add up the total number of household. I'm sorry, the total number of computer. 6 plus 11 plus 5 plus 13. So you should get the average price should be around $1,362. Are we good? But if the question says 35 customer, you don't necessarily have to do that. You just have to do we just have to divide it by 35. So it's quicker instead of just add up like 6 plus 11 plus 5 plus 13. So you should get 1,362.8. Since the question asks us to route to the nearest hour, just route up to like $1,363. All right. We should move up to the next question. All right. So this one's kind of tricky. This one is really challenging question. I'm not gonna write up the question. You're gonna take so much space on my notes. And then we still have a lot of topics. So in this case, we need to find a midpoint.
Francesco qui. Oh,
Mi è stato mi ha detto ciao.
So we need to find a midpoint for each class, okay?
E più o meno ho fatto l'undergrad qua.
In order to find a midpoint, all we have to do is just simply add them up,
Quindi adesso ci ho lavorato.
and then we divide it by 2, okay? So we add 860 plus 879 over 2,
E io sono
right? Using the midpoint, so we take 860 plus 879 over 2. Oops, I'm so sorry. And then you should get 869.5. And then we multiply with the corresponding frequency, and then we keep adding up, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the only thing that I do not like about this question is that they don't have like 900 something. So when you add them up and then you divide it by 2, you might get like 869.5 instead of 870. That's going to be the question is so much easier to do.
Però sono ritornato 3 anni fa.
So, but anyway, and then we can also find the class width, and then we can simply take 879 minus 860. So we know the fact that the class width for each class
Anzi,
should be around 19. So we just keep on adding 19. You can get like the next one. Okay. So instead of we do like 800, so the first one 869. Okay. So the first class, the first one is 869.5,
Tornare, ti paghiamo.
and then the other one will be 4.
Adesso questo è il mio terzo anno.
And then the next one, we can do 880 plus 899 over 2
Ci sta.
Perché ogni volta devo insegnare calcolo 2.
plus 899 divided by 2. We just add them up and divide it by 2. We got 889.5.
Di Math 101, cioè algebra, e una di breakout.
Come li trovi?
In difficoltà, cioè, per Math 101 sono rimasto sorpreso perché sto appena corretto
We just add up like, yeah, the carrying load, we just simply add them up, divide it by 2.
dal testo dalla scuola, dalle superiori.
And then we do the same thing for that. We're gonna take like 900 plus 919 over 2 as well. I know it's gonna take a lot of time, so I want to show you the way to get it done much easier.
Esperienza della scuola americana, quindi del college. Io venendo dal classico alle superiori avevo fatto fino a...
So you should get 909.5. I know it's just tedious math. And this one is 10. So we just simply have to add 20 instead of, you know, the class width was 20 something. I just have to add 20 each time that you move to the next midpoint. So this one 929.5.
Io non so votare, però avessi potuto votare avrei votato per me.
And this one should be 949.5.
Mia moglie ha avuto dei problemi allora. Chissà,
I'm sorry.
chissà.
Adesso con novembre.
Are we good? So the midpoint just simply, add up toothpick. Add up the first and then the last the upper and the lower limit class. We add them up and we divide it by 2.
Sì.
Eri in Italia quest'estate o eri qui?
No, sono rimasto qui per... sarei voluto tornare in realtà perché comunque
E i tuoi genitori sono in
i miei
Italia?
genitori sono in Italia.
So the whole point of doing the midpoint, because we don't exactly know the value of those full frequency, it might be like between, so they have the value between 860 and 879, right? So no matter which value that you take, it still be biased, right? So the easier way we can have to do, you have to average up, you have to average down, like you have to average those two values, and then we do the same trick that we learned. We multiply with the corresponding frequency. We add them up, and then we divide it by total frequency. We should be able to get the final answers. So that being said, we're gonna take okay, we're gonna take what? You can do it on the calculator, which is much easier than this. So we have to hit divide first. We take 869.5 times 4 plus 889.5 times 5 plus 909.5
L'unica cosa che mi dispiace
times 10 plus
Sì, esatto, sono
Nine-
quelle cose
29
che alla fine nell'ordine
0.5 times 4 plus 949.5 times 3, and then we divide it by the total of frequency that we have, the total frequency that we got was 26, right? The total would be 26 dimps. So we should get 909 no 7.19, and then you just round up to use 4 decimal places. So that'll be 900 now 7.91923 or something like that. Round up to the 1 decimal place. Are we good?
Sì, non è, ma mi diceva anche infatti che c'è college che also ci può fare il sbaglio.
Adesso non mi
Now 7.2.
di solito è un'aula nuova, un'aula nuova.
All right. No, there's no faster way to get it done because first of all, that we do not know the dataset values.
E poi c'era una cosa. Questi ragazzi.
You might try. You might take 860 times 4 plus 8790 times 4, and then we can do that. And then we divide everything by 2 at the end. You might get it to the final answer is now 7.2, but like I said, it's just too much math involving it. So finding the midpoint is the unbiased way of computing the estimated average. Can be computed, estimated, or computed using midpoint. Okay, so yeah, so we don't know exactly like those data set, look, those 5 data set values between 880 and to 899. They might be 885 or 892 or something, right? So we have no clue what it is. So the unbiased point that we should take have to be the midpoint, so that you multiply the corresponding frequency, we add them up and divide it by total frequency. So that is the unbiased estimation that we can have for the average. Okay, so you might see this question on the exam, but anyway,
Sorry.
it might be hard, but just bear with me for a while. It should be good.
I gotta go. A second.
Yeah, so this one is much easier, like I said, because you can figure it out like quickly, like from 0 to 6. So this one is much easier example because we don't necessarily have to do. You can see the midpoint immediately, like between 0 and 6. So it's 3, right? Between 7 and 13, it was 10, something like that. Between 14 and yeah. So you can figure it out much faster for some example, right? And then you can solve it quickly. No, do not worry about that. This is not the nightmare. This is just the beginning of stat 113. So if you if you can bear with that, you will see some really ugly calculation. And then it's complicated calculation based on that without using a calculator. With the calculator, that's still be very, very complicated. But anyway, so my job is trying to going over like all of the topics. Yeah, we're going to do the same thing for the chart. I think the other question is not quite complicated, but this one next semester, I don't know, maybe maybe a big number of students. I would prefer you taking stat 213, which is much easier because I know it is an elementary statistic, but like I said, you have to do everything on your own. Like I said at the very beginning of semester, if you have enough time to sit on a computer, because remember, Alex going to give you questions, and then they also give you explanations based on that. You see, so if you have enough time to sit on Alex, you should definitely gonna pass. with a good grade, really good grade. Like instead of like spending 20 hours on it, so my job is try to reduce like maybe like 10 hours or 6 hours for you guys to do the questions. Okay. No, this is not too bad. This is not too bad. You definitely gonna see something more traumatizing. Yeah. And then it's also include a lot of topics. Hopefully it's gonna get to something. But as long as that you sit on a computer can do your work, because I don't really care. The Alex doesn't really care how many attempts that you make for that question. They're gonna give you a new question, new topic until you master it, right? Which is a good part. Um, so we do the same thing for this. So uh instead of we doing with the table, now we can do it with a chart. The chart thing might be on the test. I'm so sorry, but not the other one. So you can take, so we can see the average between 5,000, 5,500 is 5250 times 4 plus. So the average between 5,500 and 6,000 should be 5,750 times 11 plus the average between 6,000 and 5,250 times 15 plus the midpoint between 6,500 and 7,000 should be 6,750. If you can do the math quick, so you should not have any problem with this. Plus the same thing, we're gonna take 7,250 times the number of data that we have will be 17 data. Plus, if I messed up one calculation, then the whole thing is wrong. But the good part of this calculator is that you can always go back and check. If you get it wrong, if you get it right, you can always undo your math and then so 7,750 times 5 over the total of frequency. I don't want to add them up. We got 72, so just do 72. All right, you should get the answer 6,597. I haven't really checked the math, like really um carefully, so I might get it wrong, but I think it should be good. 6,597, right? That's what that makes sense. I'm so sorry. I think you should pay attention to this question, like I said, not the other question. So first, we find midpoints. Each bar,
然后都是去的评分上，因为说
which are
有但是
like a 5250, 5750, 6250, and so on and so forth, right? And then you can do the math for this later on.
That's what you want. What happens with my students, you know? And if you want to tell them, they can try.
Thank you. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna lot of the with the diagnostic. That's how I'm not gonna love
So the answer for that, I would say, is based on the calculators, and it's also the Alex had an estimation 6,597.
Okay. To speak to Tatiana.
I'm going to, I'm going to tell her not to study. I'm gonna give them.
All right, I think this one is pretty good, right? Based on what we have learned earlier. So this is not too bad. I'm gonna show you something more terrifying. So, but this one is very important question. It's not that bad. You can just simply look for the midpoint for each bar quickly and then do the math. All right, guys. So let's move up to the next example.
There's only so much.
Yeah, this one is straightforward, but something straightforward might be on the exams, right? So what is the mean of this ladder? So we can look for the calculator, we can just add up. We can just send to the calculator. We take the sum. and then we divide it by 7. So we got 18.28, right? 18.3, something like that. What is the median? So we can also use this calculator um, to sort the data sets. So we can sort them, and then the median was 18. Okay. So that's the midpoint, that's the mid numbers among all of these data. Do we have any modes? We got no modes, right? No, yeah, none of these data repeats. Okay, check. All right, so this one is relatively straightforward, but it's also a very important that we have to point out. I don't think that matters for this the other title question. So that means the meet data set points, right? If we have two meet numbers, then add them up and divide it by 2, right? We only add up two middle numbers if they have like a odd they like even data sets. If we have odd data, that's simple. Just take the mid data set point. The mode is the mode repeated, right?
이게
sì, in caso le manderò la prima di aveva risposto allo
Sì, rispondo su-
All right. Any question? I think that's pretty straightforward. So yeah, we can solve it. And you have two modes. It's 62 repeated twice, 84 repeated twice. Okay, so I think I spent too much time on it. Let me just move up to the next data date. Yeah. I really don't have time to go over every single topic. If you don't have questions, or if you sort of already understand it, I can just add and just skip them. This is also a very important question. Something what I said in point, it's most likely going to be on the test. Okay, this one's please read these questions carefully, right? Um,
voglio vedere com'è la situazione per il primo semestre. Poi avevo la possibilità di insegnare quella private.
so just help me, just correct me if I'm going too fast for the topics, since I might not have enough time for it. I might go a little quick. So first thing we have to do,
Io sto facendo adesso
so you have to find a median and the mean. First you're gonna send a data set. You want to find a median, you can sort them. What happened if one of the range changes from 865 to 745? So we have to replace 865 by 745. Okay. What happened to the median? So it's remain the same because like I said, the change in the value might not affect the median. I mean, unless it's like it's changing something specifically like in the mid data set point, so it might affect the median. Otherwise, it's always stay the same. Okay. What happened to the average? So the average is gonna decrease. And how much it's gonna decrease? Well, this is what we going to deal with. So in order to figure it out, instead of we just take the average again, because it's gonna take so long, we just have to add them up. I mean, it's not too bad because we have like we can just add the sum. Right? You can take the sum for all of this and divide it by divided by 8 and then just replace by, replace 865 by 745. So you can also do the math like that. So we can take 865 minus 745 and then you divide it by 8. So we got 15. So which this is like how much they going down based on the average. So the reason why I have to divide it by 8 because this is how much it decreases, right? Based on like a data set point. Um, so I feel like this one is much faster compared to the other way around. Are we good? Instead of we just add them up and divide it by 8, and then we change the value like 865 to 745, we add them up, divide it by 8 again. So why don't we just take the difference between these two and then we just divide it by 8. So this is how much it changes among these data sets. Are we good? All right, guys. So let me go over another two topics. I'll let you go. Now we'll take attendance. I'm so sorry. So we have 15. Like I said, the questions, it doesn't ask you to find the new average. The question just only asks you how much the average going down, right? So we just simply subtract them and divide it by 8. That's the fattest way you can do. All right. Yeah, so let me just go up to the next one. I think we went over that. I'm so sorry. This is also a very important question. Like I said, whenever it says important, so you should you have to take note, like double check all the work. So as part of the US Census, the number of children reported for each family in the US, which measure give the most common number? Would that be the mean? Would that be a median? Would that be a mode? The most common numbers, right? Most common is the mode, right? Something like that. In the survey, 10 people reported how many soft drinks they drank. Which measure should be used to summarize the data? Because if the data set are very consistent, like let's say we're not gonna have like any going up too big, going down too much. So we should always be using the average, which is called the mean. When we see some data sets like going down, like 13s, and all of a sudden it jumped to 40, 43, 45, 46. It means that the data is not very consistent. Some of the data set might be considered the outliers. The outlier meaning that it's just going out of the trend. In statistic, we cannot remove any data set. We cannot modify any data set value because that's biased. But you should really have to take that into consideration. You have to treat them carefully. So in this case, the median should be used. Okay. So let's try one more. I think we have this question. So the most common is always be the most, right? Most often. When the data consistent, that's very consistent, meaning that it means that if the data doesn't change the value, abruptly, then use the means or the average. So when the data sets are not very consistent, so in our case, one of the data, one or two data sets that change its values abruptly. So use the medians, right? All right, I feel like that's pretty much what we have to worry and concern. So most often it's going to be the modes, right? So this one is just changing from 1100 hours to 3400. So we have to use the medians. This one is very consistent change. You use the mean. It's very straightforward. All right, let's wrap them up. And I'm gonna do the rest of this question, the rest of the topics by Friday. Okay. I might not be able to go over it, but I will try to, you know, try to get it done on Friday. Let's see how many topics left that we have. We still have around like 15 topics, meaning that I only have around like, 5 minutes for one topic. So making sure you have any questions. If I'm going too fast, you can also ask me during office hour. Yeah, we stop here. So we're gonna come back um, on Friday to do this. All right. Um, any question? Any concern? All right. So if there's no question, let me take attendance. I'll call it a day. All right. Jasminer, Malika, gotcha. It's just type here and then I'll see you on Friday. Annie, got you. Rachel, Selena. Sean is here. If you participated, I knew it immediately. You can just leave the class. Okay. S Samina is here. Sarah,
Here.
Alexis, Alexis is here. Yi Gao, Yi is here. Okay. Montwing, Jocelyn. Okay. Uh, Valerie, Nadir, Nicole, Tina, Ariana, Nicole, Karen, Karen's here. Okay. Meet her, meet her. Okay, I think I have 30 students, so the rest of you should be present. As long as I can identify two people did not show up from last class, and we should be good. Okay, I will see you on Friday. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And also I post a video like regarding to um the lecture video. The lecture video is posted on YouTube. You can watch it again. If you have any questions, just let me know. It's under um lecture video section. All the notes will be posted right under lecture notes section. All right, guys. So I see you.